2nd, 2022 at 7 p.m. Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Fowl, can you please take the roll?
Commissioner Alsager,
Here.
Commissioner Asman,
Here.
Commissioner Eke,
Here.
Commissioner Ronan is absent, Commissioner Bush,
Here.
Vice Mayor Simon,
Here.
and Mayor Pushboxer is absent. So we have a quorum.
Thank you. Since we have a quorum, we'll continue with the meeting. Before we continue with what's on the agenda, staff has discussed the proper procedure to go about this. The consensus would be that this is the best time to move forward with this issue. So I'd like to ask the commission to excuse Commissioner Ronan for medical reasons for the indefinite future. Would anyone be willing to make a motion?
I'll move that. I'll second.
Okay. Are there any questions or discussion before we vote? No. Okay. We don't have to do a roll for this? Okay. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, no. Okay, so motion carries. We don't have any proclamations or presentations on the agenda for tonight, so I'll move on to additions and deletions from the agenda. The staff has asked that we add a discussion regarding the creation of an industrial development district for DL Properties, which is located at 1219 North Mission, and to set a public hearing on the same for the next regular meeting of the City Commission on September 12th, 2022. I propose that we add this to the consent calendar tonight as item 6, and push all the following item numbers back by one. Is there any discussion or any other additions or deletions the commissioners would like to propose? Okay. Is there a motion to accept the agenda with the addition?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
All those opposed, no? Motion carries. Okay, so moving on to public input on agenda items. If you wish to speak on anything that's on the agenda for tonight, please step to the podium. If you are joining us via Zoom, you can use the raise hand feature or *9 if you are joining by phone. Anyone who wishes to speak in person or over Zoom, you will be given 5 minutes, and we ask that you state your name and address for the record. Are there any raised hands on Zoom?
No, there are not.
Okay. Do we have any emails?
No, we do not.
Okay. Since no one seems to be stepping up, I will close public input. Manager DeSense, can you give us a receipt of petitions and communications?
I can. Receipt of petitions and communications includes the minutes of the Planning Commission from July. Minutes of the Planning Commission from July.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. Moving on to consent items. Are there any items on the consent calendar that need to be removed and placed on the regular agenda? Okay, Manager DeSense, can you please review the consent calendar?
Absolutely. Consent items include approval of the minutes from the regular meeting held August 8, 2022. Consider Michigan Department of Transportation resolution authorizing the approval of a contract to receive funds for the design work for the Taxiway A rehabilitation project. The city is being awarded $143,779 for design work for the main runway at our airport from the FAA and $7,988 from MDOT. The city is required to contribute 5% of the cost of the project, which is equal to the amount MDOT is contributing. Consider professional services agreement with Mead and Hunt for Taxiway A rehabilitation, which allocates the total $159,755 mentioned in the last business item to contract with Mead and Hunt for the airport runway design work. The Airport Joint Operations and Management Board has recommended approval of this item. Set public hearing for Industrial Development District for DL Wilson Properties for September 12, 2022. Staff has been working with DL Wilson Properties, who is located at 1219 North Mission Street. DL Wilson Properties is hoping to expand their operations at that location and will be seeking an industrial facilities tax exemption. The exemption would be on property taxes for new construction that they propose. Details of this request will come forward at that future meeting, which will include the length of time of the exemption, proposed expansion, and jobs created. And lastly, consider approval of payrolls and warrants.
Thank you, Manager DeSense. Is there a motion to accept the consent calendar as presented?
I move.
Second.
All those in favor say yes.
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 All those opposed, no. Motion carries. We have two public hearings on the agenda for tonight. Our first public hearing, which is item 7 on the agenda, is regarding an ordinance to amend section 154.410.B.4 of the Mount Pleasant zoning ordinances regarding registered student organization dwellings and consider approval of the same. Manager DeSense, can you give us an overview?
Absolutely. Under the city's zoning ordinance, registered student organization dwellings cannot be adjacent to, have common lot line width, or be located across a local street or alley from residential CD3 and CD3L districts. The proposed ordinance will remove this restriction and make 15 properties eligible to be RSOs. The change would create consistency between the way that RSOs and rooming dwellings are treated regarding their proximity to CD3 and CD3L districts. The amendment would also codify existing practice that an RSO dwelling reverts to a rooming dwelling in the event the RSO is no longer recognized by the university. Upon completion of the public hearing, staff is recommending a motion for approval of text change 22-06 with the recommendation consistent with the recommendation from the Planning Commission.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. I will open the public hearing. So if you wish to speak on this public hearing, please step to the podium. If you're joining us via Zoom, you can use the raise hand feature or *9 if you're joining by phone. Anyone who wishes to speak in person or Zoom will be given 5 minutes. And we ask that you state your name and address for the record. Are there any raised hands on Zoom?
No, there are not.
Okay. Do we have any emails?
No, we do not.
Okay. So at this time, I'll close the public hearing. Does the commission have any questions they'd like answered at this time? No? Okay. Oh,
Okay, so I'm interested in how, especially the proximity of the RSOs, the dwellings to residential, permanent residents, like permanent residences, and also in relation to our noise ordinance. I'm assuming we do have some noise ordinance. Yes?
My apologies, Commissioner Eke, you were asking about the proximity of these RSOs to residential districts?
The implications of this, if we amend the zoning ordinance, what would be the implications of their proximity to the permanent residences and also noise?
Okay. So what the ordinance aims to do is to regulate RSOs very similar to boarding houses. So there are certain restrictions such as mentioned within the memo here, their proximity to CD3 and CDL districts. So that those restrictions would go away. So RSOs would be closer to those districts than previously allowed. But again, the idea here is that those RSOs really function the same as boarding houses. So whether they're university affiliated or not, we don't really see too much of a difference in their actual operation. So that's what this aims to do. As far as noise ordinances, this doesn't amend any sort of a noise ordinance. The city still has noise ordinances in place that restrict, loud noises from events, those kind of things.
Okay, good. I just want to, I want to make sure that that's clear for me, because sometimes when we amend things, then it affects other things too. And that's what I'm trying to find out. Okay,
Understood.
thank you.
are there any further questions? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I move to amend the section mentioned.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion to adopt the amendment to section 154.410.b.4, the zoning ordinance regarding RSO dwellings as presented. Since this was a public hearing, Clerk Bao, can you take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Ronan is absent. Commissioner Alsager?
Yes.
Commissioner Bush?
Yes.
Commissioner Eke?
Yes.
Commissioner Asman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Simon?
Yes.
And Mayor Perschbacher is absent. Motion carries 5-0, sorry.
Moving on to the second public hearing, which is item 8. This is an ordinance to amend section 154.410.c.2.b and table 154.410.a of the Mount Pleasant zoning ordinances regarding Group B special regulated uses and consider approval of the same. Manager DeSenza, can you give us an overview?
Absolutely. The proposed ordinance would remove palm readers, psychic readers, and pool or billiard halls from the list of special regulated uses and instead allow them as a use by right in certain zoning districts. Upon completion of the public hearing, staff is recommending a motion for the approval of text change 22-07, consistent with the recommendation from the Planning Commission.
Okay, so I will open the public hearing. If we have anyone in the audience that would like to speak, please step towards the podium. Anyone joining via Zoom can use the raise hand feature or *9 if they're joining by phone. Anyone who wishes to speak will be given 5 minutes, and we ask that you state your name and address for the record. Do we have any raised hands on Zoom?
No, we do not.
Okay. Any emailed comments?
No comments.
Okay. Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing and bring it back to the commission. Do we have any questions that we'd like answered at this time?
I do. So I'm looking at this again. Again, for me, it has to do with clarity. I don't see the particular zones that we're talking about. They're not delineated here. So how does one then know what zones they would be delegated or that zones would be designated for palm readers and psychic readers and horoscope analysis and all that? Did I miss something?
Right.
If I'm looking at the material we got, maybe I missed it.
Yeah, so one would have to go to that particular section because we do have included in your city commission packet that memorandum that establishes that text change. Now, I do know that a lot of these are within the commercial districts.
Okay.
I do wonder if I can call upon Community Services Director Merdeza if he might be able to illuminate just a little bit more. But I do know all of these are in particular in commercial districts, not residential districts, so we know we won't have an
That's
issue there.
okay, that's part of the clarity I'm seeking here
Okay.
in terms of zoning again, so.
Commissioners, good evening. If you refer to the table that is being amended to eliminate the uses that Manager DeSenza indicated, you won't see those on there, and those are the uses that normally would have been included under CD4 and CD5. So it would be those two zoning districts that would have included palm readers, billiard halls, et cetera, as a special regulated use. And the amendment is proposing that those be removed from this table and be a use by right in those two commercial areas.
Okay, just let's say somebody doing this tabula rasa, in other words, no foundation. Explain use by right.
Use by right is as long as the proposed use would meet the requirements, the normal requirements within the ordinance as written, that they would be allowed to move forward with an application and would not necessarily have to go before a public hearing and have additional considerations added to their request. So, a special regulated use for instance, marijuana, et cetera, has certain conditions that need to be met, and it requires a public hearing and some additional steps. This would be like any other thing that would be allowed in a commercial district, assuming that they met the other provisions within that district. So there wouldn't be additional regulations or additional steps needed for them to take, or additional items that they would need to meet beyond the basic criteria that any other commercial use would need to meet in that particular zoning district.
Okay.
Okay.
Clear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to amend section, and I'm going to do you a favor, I'm going to read them this time.
Oh, thank you.
154.410.c.2.b and table 154.410.a of the zoning ordinances that we consider approving them.
Perfect. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. As this is a public hearing, Clerk Bow, can you please take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Bush?
Yes.
Commissioner Asman?
Yes.
Commissioner Eke?
Yes.
Commissioner Alsager?
Yes.
Commissioner Ronan is absent. Vice Mayor Simon?
Yes.
Mayor Perschbacher is absent. Motion carries 5-0.
Moving on to new business. Item 9 on the agenda is to consider the outdoor ice rink operations for the upcoming 2022-2023 winter season. Manager DeSense, can you please give us an overview?
Absolutely. So I know the City Commission was interested in coming back around to this item before the season when we established the ice rink last year. The city staff has prepared a memo listing the cost of the ice rink for the 2021-2022 season. That memo also references a survey that was conducted regarding the use of the ice rink. A majority of survey respondents found the ice rink to be a favorable amenity within the community. Staff is recommending the continued operation of the ice rink in winter 2022-2023 at a cost not to exceed $7,000.
Thank you. Does the commission have any questions they'd like answered at this time?
I have one. One of the comments is about having rentals available. And I know CMU used to do that, and I'm just wondering if that's something where they would be in some boxes in storage, if that would be something that might be possible to access. Of course, by now they're probably disintegrating. Just a question of if that's been explored about having rentals.
I would have to defer you to actually our Parks Director here, Mr. Phil Briskenner. So I'll have Phil go ahead and answer that.
Good evening. We have gone down that avenue. We actually were looking to partner with the ice rink, and they do not have the staff to be able to deliver them to the location, and we don't have the staff to be able to monitor that. That's basically the only reason, it's just not feasible staffing wise.
Thank you.
What about a winter sports equipment swap day type thing that maybe the department could sponsor, maybe to launch the opening of the ice rink and just kind of encourage community members to, because we don't have a used sporting equipment store in Mount Pleasant. And I think our community would be very receptive to all sorts of sporting equipment, winter sporting equipment, because it's expensive stuff. And kids outgrow skates, so.
Yeah, that's definitely something we can look into. I could partner with the rec department and look into doing something.
Could be really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I will look into that.
Good idea.
Go ahead.
So I'm looking at this survey, and it's quite interesting. You're telling us 34 people, you had 80 respondents. and 34 people, which is almost close to 50%, so 40-something%, did not use the ice rink. 26 used it 1 to 3 times. 11 used it 4 to 6 times. 4 used it 7 to 9 times. So, what is the possibility that you'd have more attendance this year? I'm supportive, but I'm just asking, given the data that you're just showing us here.
I think it's actually pointing in the right direction now that people know that it's available
Okay.
and roughly the timeline that it will be available. It should increase the participation.
And didn't it not even open till close? It didn't open till when? What was that?
It was like January 7th.
Right, so there was, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to do more publicity?
We do what we can. I mean, we do all of our social media posts, and I work with Darcy, and we try to get what we can get out.
But here's the thing, I realize, how much a lot of people rely on social media. Somebody like me, I've got Facebook, and I tell you, I had Facebook for 10 years and I didn't look at it until maybe recently. And even now, I barely go there. So what other ways can we publicize this? Maybe, people who are sponsors, flyers, Morning Sun that loves to report things that are happening here. Can we do things there? Radio, media, I don't know. Because I didn't even know about this ice rink until we started talking about it here. I didn't think there was one. And I can tell you that there are a lot of people I know who did not know about it. So I'm just simply, I want to be supportive, but I'm also saying that if you're going to do this, for the community, put in this money, I know that it's not a lot. We've got to do a lot of publicity so that people, to bring people to come.
Yeah, I will definitely get with Darcy and see what other options we have to reach the public.
Thank you.
I have a thought. Sometime this summer, I was doing some public announcement kind of stuff at the top of the hill to Island Park. And you wouldn't believe both the traffic that went by and the walking traffic and people going in and out of Island Park. That would be a great place for a sign of some sort to say, rink open today. Mm-hmm. That would be a great place for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will definitely look into that.
Okay, thanks.
And like at the farmer's market, like at the parks table at the farmer's market, hey, this is something that'll be here. The park isn't just for summer, the park isn't, you know what I mean?
Right.
That kind of approach, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we can do that, especially the last month for October, just to kind of get it going.
Mm-hmm.
Figures you'd hear from the two of us that used to be on the Parks and Rec board.
Right.
Okay, are there any further questions?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, I will entertain a motion.
I move that what are we doing? Approve?
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, so there is a motion to approve the adoption of the ice rink for the 2022-2023 winter season with the budget as presented. Is there any discussion before we vote?
It's a great idea.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is $7,000 feasible or?
Yeah, we absolutely think it is, and actually, we think it's probably on the high end,
Okay.
is our thought.
That's amazing.
I was just making sure.
I already had the stuff.
Right.
Cool.
Any further discussion? No, okay. All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
All those opposed, no. Motion carries. At this time, we'll move to announcements on city-related issues and new business. Do any commissioners have anything they'd like to bring forward?
Other than CMU is beginning next week, and the students are back, so please be kind. We have a lot of students coming in who don't know Mount Pleasant. Please be patient, please be kind. Somebody stopped me 2 days ago and said, does CMU have a union? How do I get to the student union? Okay, so you're going to have parents who are asking for directions or students who are lost. They're driving in all sorts of ways. I've encountered some of them. So please be kind. They are students and we want them to stay. Thank you.
Commissioner Alsager?
I have a flyer I brought with me, and it's advertising Women Who Care in Isabella County. And I've heard about it previously as 100 Women Who Care, but they've titled it Women Who Care. And their meetings, unfortunately, are going to conflict completely with city commission meetings. So we could partner with someone to support it if we chose to. But they have an informational meeting 7 p.m. September 12th, which is a commission meeting, and there will be meeting the first 2 times at the Commission on Aging. They tell me there is going to be a social time afterwards, so maybe that's a way to get to know the group. But I think it's a great idea. Their premise is that the women who show up to the meeting can put in a hat, so to speak, a nonprofit that they would like to have supported. And then it's a random draw. They draw out 3, and the 3 people that put those in the hat get 5 minutes to explain why that nonprofit should be supported. And then they vote, and all the money from the members goes to that one that's voted on. And then the one that's voted on can't be brought up again for a number of years. So it's meant to give good support to local nonprofits in a rotating way.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
They are a good group. You want to support them.
Commissioner?
So just also letting folks know, of course, Mount Pleasant Public Schools went back in session today, so good luck for all of our students and staff for this school year. And I think also there's a lot of community events happening specifically this weekend in a rush for us to fit everything into this Michigan summer. There's a great art class on Friday night at For Art's Sake, where adults can pretend they're at summer camp, Camp Crafty. And then there is a drag show at the Broadway on Friday night, and those performers are always fantastic, and it's going to be a really fun one. We've got some local people from Mount Pleasant who are performing there. And then not to be what's it called, a cross-interest thing?
Self-promoter.
Self-promoter, yes, thank you. But I have an event at Buckley's on Saturday. It's a fundraiser for Raison for Ukraine, a US-based humanitarian relief effort supporting humanitarian needs in Ukraine. We're going to have several live musicians, food. It's going to be a good time on the river, and all the funds go to sending support from Mount Pleasant to refugees in countries around Ukraine.
Anything else? No? Okay, at this time, we'll move on to public comment on agenda and non-agenda items. So if you wish to address the commission, please step up to the podium. If you're joining via Zoom, you can use raise hand feature or *9 if you're joining by phone. Anyone who wishes to speak will be given 5 minutes, and we ask that you state your name and address for the record. Are there any raised hands on Zoom?
Yes, I'm going to move in Mayor Perschbacher. Go ahead, Amy.
Okay, I am Amy Perschbacher at 1739 South Stockman Road. Many people know where my address is. It was publicized all over the place. But I would like to say that I appreciate the commission taking the leadership, especially Vice Mayor Simon, taking the leadership here and running the meeting. You ran a marvelous meeting, and I think you beat my time. But I would also like to say that there were many things that were announced here that I'm fully supportive, like Women Who Care, Women Cares, and the ice rink. I do support that. Though I would like to see more pull from the city to see if we can get some individuals that do not have ice skates, because as Commissioner Bush said, they are expensive. and children grow out of them very quickly. So I'd like to see more a flow with that to see if we can get some more, you know, a little more mind thoughts in there trying to get that going. But I do appreciate everyone today. I do not have COVID, but I have been exposed. And because I've had symptoms, and the symptoms are very similar to the ragweed allergen right now, I was unwilling to come in to give a possibility of causing a contagion in the city commission. Please be aware that we are in allergy season, but we also have 2 variants out there that are very highly contagious. If you are feeling like you may have been exposed, if you feel like you have the symptoms, please take caution. We just really need to step up and take care of our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor Perschbacher. We hope you feel well soon. Are there any other raised hands on Zoom?
No, there are not.
Okay, do we have any emails on non-agenda items?
No, we do not.
Okay, so at this time, I will close public comment. We don't have any closed sessions or work sessions on the agenda tonight, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Okay.
All those in favor say yes.
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 All those opposed, no. Okay, so we are adjourned at 7:31.
Yeah.